facility have an opportunity to see some of the best custom cars in the country with a tremendous broad run. They have a big off-road jamboree up here. But today, they're going to get to see some side-by-side Southern-style monster truck racing. We're going to kick up some dust in Canfield, Ohio when we come back. Stay with us. Trucks and Tractor Power coming to you from Canfield, Ohio. This afternoon, we have completed qualifying. Now, here are the matchups for round one. Bigfoot, the fast qualifier, against Snakebite, Micro Machine, and Black Stallion. Then it's the third fast qualifier, Carolina Crusher and Clydesdale. Nightmare will match up against Bad Medicine. And also in round one, No Problem against King Crunch. And Taurus will line up against Nightlife. And there is Andy Brass, Bigfoot 8 out of St. Louis, Missouri. And he, as the fast qualifier, will take on his old nemesis out of Colorado. There is Colt Cobra in Snakebite. Gary, everybody that knows the story knows that the only reason Colt Cobra became involved in monster truck racing was to beat Bigfoot. In order to beat Bigfoot, you got to qualify hard. This is a qualifying shot earlier this afternoon. Check it out. He's headed right for the TV compound. Watch the people scatter over there. I don't know what it is. We must have a magnet over in that television compound. We attract these monster trucks. Called a monster magnet. Here, have to be. You hold it. I'm going to the other end. An upset. A problem with Andy Brass, and Snakebite will advance to round two. Boy, Snakebite will advance, but look at Andy Brass. You don't see that very often. Colt Cobra has got to be tickled to death. He's been bragging about beating that blue truck forever. No matter what. But it took a mechanical problem to defeat him, though. That doesn't count. You win, you win. You lose, you lose. He won. And there is the hex of Snakebite as Bigfoot towed away. Here's Andy Brass. Well, Andy, I know you're not a superstitious driver. This guy said he put a hex on you. You didn't make it over the first jump. What happened?
Well, the best thing we can figure out is we lost oil pressure, so I figured my pump locked up, and we sheared the distributor off because we don't have any fire in the motor at all. So that's the best thing I can figure right now.
Ready for round one competition. The next pairing, John Breen, the Micro Machine. And here is the Black Stallion with Mike Batters. Mike's a new kid on the block in the sport. John Breen probably been around. He and Methuselah used to go four-wheeling together years ago, but Breen's been around a long time. Let's see what this kid can do. Hey, look at here. The kid in the Black Stallion's okay because Breen has a problem. Now, once again, we have seen two drivers advance because of mechanical woes to the other competition. And both problems have come out of the same lane. One. Yeah. The right lane. Yeah, but Gary, you got to give credit where credit's due. The kid was called to the line. He went to the line. The light went green. He went to the other end, and he will be going to the next round. And he also has made his way over to talk with you, Army Armstrong. Here's the Black Stallion. Well, Gary, we're standing with a young man that's trying to get his rookie stripes in, Mike Vaughter, driver of the Black Stallion. And Mike, an awfully good run while ago against the Micro Machine.
Thank you very much, Army. The tracks feels real good, and we're still playing with the gearing and the transfer case. Everything looks good for the next round.
You're basically going through a real good learning curve right now.
Yeah, we did a lot of indoor shows in my previous years. Every one set of cars. This is an all-new ball game. We're reaching a lot higher speeds, and we're getting a lot higher altitude in the truck.
You're in the next round. We'll see you there.
Thanks a lot, Army.
Experience in the cockpit. The only way to get it is to go out there and run after run after run. And here is a new paint job for Bennett Clark, the Clydesdale, the Valvoline Clydesdale this season, going against the Carolina Crusher with Gary Porter, a pair of Chevrolets. Well, Gary, what can you say about these two guys? They're like two old street fighters. They've been here before. The Valvoline sponsor Clydesdale, Bennett Clark, he's just coming back on the tour. He hasn't quite got it figured out. On the other lane, Gary Porter looks to be leading a life of charm right now. Did you see the second set of cars? The way Gary found the air. Watch again. Now watch Gary go over the second set of cars through what we call no man's land. Right. Now watch this jump right here. Smooth. That is textbook. It's like landing a 747, yeah. That was an impressive ride by Gary Porter. Now we take a look at Steve Hess out of Columbia City, Indiana, in the GMC called Nightmare. And there is Bad Medicine Don Van Loo from Jefferson City, Missouri. Now Van Loo, one of the Chrysler horse-powered vehicles,
He can run with anybody, and this should be a real good race. The reason it should be a good race is both of them are the older style trucks. You should see a lot of bounce. See that? The front end's coming up.
Nightmare was smooth over the second set of cars, though, and the GMC takes the victory.
Boy, Hess has teamed up with GMC. You know, if they had class racing, he would be first in class in the sport. That's not the case, though, Gary.
The fans show their appreciation here in Canfield, Ohio, up near Youngstown, as we take a look again in the right side lane. Here comes your GMC. Hess will take the victory.
I think you're going to be seeing in the future a lot more trucks like Van Loo's. They're going to start building them lower to the ground to get them to hug Mother Nature, to hug that earth.
Well, here's a look at John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee, in a short wheelbase. Another strategy or theory in monster truck racing alongside Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Crunch. So we have a, well, actually that's supposed to be a Chevrolet.
I was going to ask you what kind of body style
that's a Chevrolet against a Ford product. Now, this was yesterday. Scott Stevens has had a black cloud hanging over his head. Look at this. Once again, sky, ground, and he's upside down again.
And Canfield all over his head now when he landed on his head here. But you're going to race, you got to race.
Tear off the sheet metal, in this case fiberglass. The truck is in good condition, and here is Scott Stevens, the far lane, the left lane, lane 2, and it looks like, whoa, John Moore. Stevens by a fender, if he had a fender.
Yeah. Oh, he's still trying to shut it down. The throttle may have hung a little bit. No, I think he's just happy. He is. He's just happy that he's not on his head.
Well, let's watch driving that puppy back. John Moore almost nipped him right at the finish line.
Yeah, John Moore almost caught him in the air. Watch the launch here.
John just needed a longer wheelbase, and there's been a tie.
I guarantee you.
Well, here is Wayne Smozanik in the Jupiter, Florida truck they call Nightlife. Actually, that truck was built by Dave Wyzorek out of Nebraska. He takes on Jack Willman Sr. out of Granite City, Illinois, in the Taurus Chevrolet.
Willman's another driver that's been around forever. The gentleman in the far lane, Wayne, he's a new driver in this sport, but he comes to us from drag racing. He's got a lot of irons in the seat in a pro stock drag car, so he knows what it's going to take to win. The starting line, reaction time is important. He's still got that, but Willman seems to be, yes, horsepowering him on the big end.
Now, Willman had the advantage there out of brute strength from under the hood. As the Taurus truck will advance to round 2, we look again.
It's amazing how these, now watch them, they're just catching.
But here's Stan doing a brisk business here at the Canfield Fairgrounds in the Buckeye State. We're at Canfield, Ohio with Trucks and Tractor Power. Round 2 matchups. We'll see Snakebite going against the Black Stallion, with the winner advancing on to the semifinal. Also in round 2, Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher will take on the Nightmare. And also in round 2 competition, we'll have King Crunch, Scott Stevens, against the brand new Chevrolet truck Taurus of Jack Willman Sr. All right, now we take a look at Snakebite with Colt Cobra out of Cobra Creek, Colorado. Man, that is a mouthful to say when you're introducing the driver and the truck they know as Snakebite. And here is a look at Mike Batters out of Hagerstown, Maryland, in the Black Stallion.
Talking about Colt Cobra, there's so many C's in his name, you just need to call that kid the CC Rider.
I'm just going to call him the Snake right now as they stage for round 2 competition.
New driver in the far lane, the Black Stallion. We don't know that much about him, but he's out here to play with these guys.
2 drivers we don't know much about.
Well, I do know one thing. The guy driving that truck. Oh, here we go again. Head straight for the TV crew. Left turn, Clyde. There you go. He pulls it back in. Something is making that truck, and it's not the driver steering it. It's a chassis reaction that actually shoves the truck over one direction or the other. Scott Stevens has the same problems. Notice the front wheels. They will basically be straight.
So you're saying something in weight transfer between the chassis and the suspension system is turning that truck to the right.
Exactly. It springs it one way or the other.
Well, at least he has some runoff space there. Did not get into trouble. As we take a look at a good Hoosier boy, Columbia City, Indiana, Steve Hess in Nightmare with an older variety of suspension. You talk about the new and the old. Here's a new suspension under Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. We talk about weight transfer and suspension and chassis. Let's talk about transferring some horsepower to the wheels.
Well, Gary, as you know, horsepower, weight, and everything is very, very important. Numbers games, what I'm talking about here. Monster truck racing is no different. 2,000-pound tires, we talk about them all the time. The weight of the monster truck, 10 to 12,000 pounds. The horsepower of these monster trucks generate around 1,500 to 2,000 horsepower. But the big trick is, how do you get the horsepower to move all that weight? Well, the magic number there could very easily be the number 8. That number 8 we're talking about is located in the transmission. It's in the form of what we call a torque converter. An 8-inch torque converter transfers all the horsepower we were talking about to move these behemoth monster trucks. So basically what I'm telling you, Gary Lee, is if you don't have a good number 8 or torque converter, all the rest of the numbers we talk about, they're just zeros.
Well, since you know all about the mechanics, you can go ahead and work on my vehicles, and I'll just drive them as we get set for more competition here in round 2. The Carolina Crusher and Nightmare. Nightmare with a hole shot.
Yeah, he actually moved first, but Porter will pull him back in no man's land.
That 8-inch torque converter. He converted all that horsepower to the wheels, and he takes the victory here in Canfield. So the Carolina Crusher will advance.
It's really amazing that all that horsepower, 1,500 horsepower, will move 10 to 15,000 pounds, and it all does have to go through that 8-inch torque converter.
A lot of wear and tear on the drive line in these monster trucks, but right there you can see that horsepower going to work because Nightmare did have the hole shot, but the Carolina Crusher will transfer in competition. Oh, look at this. Looks like the remnants of a demolition derby. This is Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Crunch. That thing has been upside down more than it's been right side up. And it goes up against the brand new truck, Jack Willman Sr. out of Granite City, Illinois in the Chevy Taurus.
I'm anxious to see what kind of a mindset that Scott Stevens has right now. I'll be very honest, Gary. If I were in that truck, I'm not sure that I would push it very hard. We're going to find out what kind of a monster truck racer is. If he goes after Taurus, and he is. Look at this. He's not afraid of him.
The Taurus has the advantage right there, and he takes it by about 2 truck lengths.
Yeah, but Scott was running him as hard as he could. I think Stevens, you know, the proverbial getting back up on the horse after it's thrown you, we may have just witnessed that right here. But Stevens and the crew, they'll get it all figured out. But they got another whole round not to worry about now. Taurus will be going to that next one.
But before he prepares the truck, let's talk to Jack Willman Sr.
Well, Jack, it sounds like the horsepower is back, but you say you have other problems?
Yeah, I got a little transmission problems, but we kind of got it, the housing's broke on it, and we got it held in there right now with some motorcycle straps, and I made it that round. If I'm lucky today, well, maybe to make it 2 more rounds.
Might be the old duct tape and baling wire. We'll be watching you.
Okay, thank you, homie.
Yeah, it's amazing what they use to hold these trucks together as they get through the competition. So once again, Snake Bite and Carolina Crusher will go after each other. Then it's King Crunch, the fast loser, against Taurus, as they then will advance to the finals. And here is a look at Gary Porter out of Wadesboro, North Carolina. He has just a ton of horsepower, and he likes the longer, faster track.
Oh, he does. He likes to get out and leg the motor. You know, on the front of the Colt Cobra vehicle, Colt Cobra will tell you those are fangs. You know what Gary Porter just told me? That's a snaggle-tooth truck. That's not a fangs on the front of that.
All right, well, let's see what happens. They can talk all they want, but once that light turns green, they let their right foot do the talking.
That's right. Whoa. Cobra drilled the light. Porter's going to have to play catch-up.
Can he do it? Can he do it? No! The Snake gets him.
Snaggle-tooth or not, he's going to the final.
Yeah. That is an upset.
Gee, it's almost like the Snake has got a spell on these guys, Gary.
You know, I'm wondering, as we look at that slow-motion replay at the start, I think that Gary Porter only has the rear wheels pushing that truck. He does not have 4-wheel drive.
I didn't notice. That could very easily be the case, but no matter what, we know half the final is set. It's going to be the Snake out of Colorado.
Well, the Snake has been waiting for this for a long time. As we take a look at Gary Porter, he climbs out. Perhaps something wrong with the Carolina Crusher. Yeah, he's looking up in front. So there is a problem with the front drive on that pickup truck. And here is a battered truck at best. Scott Stevens out of Spring, Texas. And there is a Jack Willman Sr. out of Granite City, Illinois.
Scott and his crew have been walking around the pit area all day long whistling zippity-doo-dah. That's the kind of attitude you got to have when you're in this kind of shape. You got to believe in what you're doing. And he's picking up points. That is important. Well, hey, he's running hard
over the first set of cars, but Jack Willman will take the victory, and Jack will advance to the championship round here in Canfield, Ohio. He takes Taurus to the championship.
Taurus is going against the Snake Bite, but Scott Stevens, it's been a major day of accomplishment for him. He and the Auto Value team have picked up a lot of points.
Well, that should make for a very interesting pairing for the championship. And Army, I'd like to hear from Colt Cobra, if you can catch up with him down there. As we take a look at Scott Stevens headed back to the tow rig, and he'll be headed back to Spring, Texas.
Well, Gary, here's a guy that did exactly what he said he's going to do all day long, Colt. Final time you're going to be there against Taurus.
Yeah, Army, you know, we've been working for this moment for a long time. You know, it's our third round out with this truck, and words escape me right now. You know, we put this truck in the finals. We've been busting our tail end back there in the pits trying to come up with different combinations. We've been on the phone with a special friend of mine out in California. It helps me out a little bit on the motors, and it seems like that BDS motor that's helping me out here is putting me into the finals, and I'm real tickled to death. You know, I've been kind of holding back on that and letting everybody know that that is my secret weapon now, that the BDS motor is really putting me into the final.
Well, you're there. We're going to be watching you.
All right, thanks a lot, Army.
And the snake will try to put the bite on Taurus. Taurus will try to defang the snake, and here is Jack Willman Sr.
Gary, we're standing with the other half of the final, and you're sitting strong in this thing, Jack. A 540 is where we get. You're kind of saying we got problems, but that doesn't show it with a 540.
No, it sure doesn't, Army. And I'm happy with that. You know, that's the best time I turned today, and that's about what I've been running through the weekend. So if I can get my transmission to hold up for one more time, but she just keeps it sagging a little bit more. But one more time, maybe we can get in that winner's circle.
Let's see if he can do it from Canfield. Welcome back to the Monster Truck Thunder Nationals, where there is a host of activities for you truck enthusiasts. And to find out more about how you can be part of the action, call or write the Special Events Promotion Company. We're in Canfield, Ohio. We are ready for the championship round. Nice to have you with us, Gary Lee and Army Armstrong, as we take a look at Jack Willman Sr. in Taurus. He goes against Snakebite.
Gary, I walked over and looked at the bottom of this truck. I looked at the transmission. That I would not set in that truck right now. There's about a 1/4 of an inch crack all the way around it. It is literally just held together by nylon straps. Jack Willman's right foot is about 2 inches from something that could explode and hurt him bad. But it's final time, and it's time to go to the line.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to think about your own safety and say, hey, it's time to walk away and forfeit this championship and not take the chance of injury. But Willman is strapped on board Taurus. He's alongside Colt Cobra in Snakebite. This is for the championship in Canfield, Ohio. They stage.
Boy, the drama is thick. You could see a bomb here. So far, so good.
No, Jack's going to take it. Oh, and he's almost over on his nose. He almost went on over. The transmission holds for that final run, and he takes the championship here in Canfield.
Well, I tell you what, that is putting a lot of trust in some nylon straps.
A lot of strain in the transmission, and you're right, a lot of faith in those nylon straps. They hold, and he wins it. But look at this. He almost noses over.
Yeah, he almost high-sided, but almost don't count except in hand grenades and horseshoes. So monster trucks, he just plain old won it, Gary.
Colt Cobra on your right, Jack Willman Sr. on your left, and right here, watch how Jack nose dives over the second set of cars, bounces back upright. He takes the victory. He's the champion here in Canfield, Ohio. We've been watching Jack today. Watch how he climbs out of this truck, down through the bottom of the cab, and walks around the front of it. Doesn't go through the window like everybody else does, but he wants to check out the damage under this truck. And Army, let's go down trackside to you.
Been like that last 2 runs.
Boy, you talk about an interesting scenario. He just pointed out to me the only thing holding that were 2 straps like bungee type straps. Congratulations on the win, but I think Lady Luck was in your crew today.
Oh, definitely. Lady Luck was there, for sure.
Strong run. You ran hard all day long. You knew you had problems, but you still stayed after it. That's what this sport's coming to. There's no rollover. You got to go 100% all the way.
That's right. These guys out there won't let you lay down.
Well, I tell you, congratulations. We enjoy watching you win this one.
Thank you very much, Ronnie.
And that will wrap it up from the Canfield Fairgrounds near Youngstown, Ohio, where Taurus held on by a thread, literally, to win the championship here today. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now stay tuned for news of an exciting home video from Diamond P Sports. It's time to shake, battle, and roll. Call 1-800-453-2800 for 70 minutes of awesome air-grabbing rooster tail spring action from the worlds of monster truck racing, truck and tractor pulling, and mud bogging. Relive the great moments of thrilling side-by-side monster truck racing. Feel the ground shake from the raw power of truck and tractor pulling. And get down and dirty as the best mud racers battle the slime for the fastest time. All this incredible action on one video cassette just by calling 1-800-453-2800. That's 1-800-453-2800. Strap up for a ride on the wild side. It's time to shake, battle, and roll.